Reach Out and Read, which we did a fabulous book drive in March. We got an entire box of books. Donated. It is a nonprofit organization. I think you have some information that gives free books to low-income kids. And Tish is actually on the board of Reach Out and Read, and that's why she is here to support Reach Out and Read, and also An Unlikely Story. So we are so excited to have Tish here. As I looked over her, she has quite a long history of writing books and doing all kinds of creative things. She is absolutely amazing. So Tish is going to sing some of her songs. She's going to read some books. And we're going to have Clifford here, who's going to hang out. He'll come back at the end, and you can take more pictures with him if you would like to. So to tell you a little bit about Tish Rabe, she's written over 160 children's books, from Sesame Street and Disney and Blue's Clues and Curious George, Huff and Puff, and many others. And then in 1996, 5 years after the death of Dr. Seuss, she was selected by Dr. Seuss Enterprises to create the Cat in the Hat Learning Library. It's a new line of rhyming science books for early readers. It's very cool. Do you guys like science books? Yeah? Awesome. She also wrote the popular Dr. Seuss book for parents to be all the places you'll go to be read in utero. I bet you some of you have had that book read to you. And she created her own character, the I Believe Bunny, which won a Mom's Choice Award for Best Picture Book Gold. Wow.
Sorry about that.
Wow. She also wrote scripts for children's television series, including Clifford, Clifford's Puppy Days, and was the head writer for I Spy for Scholastic Entertainment and HBO Family. So, holy moly. Tish, how do you do it all? Tish is also, I thought this was the coolest thing that I learned about her today. She has her own band, Tish Rabe and Friends, and she sings in New York City at the Metropolitan Room. So if you're in New York City, I would highly recommend going to see Tish and her friends sing. Tish loves sharing her love of reading and writing and singing with kids that she meets, and that we are so happy to have her with us today so she can sing and read to you guys, okay? So give a big welcome to Tish Rabe.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, I want to say hi to everybody, and I want to let the adults out there know that I'm going to be downstairs after this signing my books and helping out Reach Out and Read. So hope to meet you guys all after, and we'll go downstairs and sign some books and have some fun. Yes, my name is Tish Rabe, and indeed I am a children's book author. Over the years, I have written for just about everybody. Sesame Street, Disney Princess, Blue's Clues, Curious George, and who's the guy in the middle? The Cat in the Hat. That's right. And I've written for him too, and I'm going to share with the girls right here that over here, I am the singing voice for Cinderella in book and audio. Every beautiful princess you happen to see is learning the alphabet from A to Z. So that's another thing I do. Thank you. This is a picture of me when I was in high school. And I always show my audiences this because when I was in high school, I loved to do two things. I loved to sing and I loved to write. Was I going to be a singer or a writer or a singer? I couldn't decide. Well, finally I decided deep in my heart that I really wanted to be a singer. So I went to college to be a singer. I have a 4-year degree in vocal performance from Ithaca College School of Music. I learned how to sing opera, and I learned how to sing jazz. Now, who's the guy on the right? And where does Elmo live? Sesame Street. Good job, Jonah. Yeah, Sesame Street. Well, when I was just got out of college, I was lucky enough to get a job on Sesame Street. Now remember, I just graduated with a degree in singing, and my job at Sesame Street was to hire the other singers every day. So I sang all day long in the office. I sang when I typed, and I sang when I filed, and I sang when I answered the phone. Sesame Street, may I help you? Well, finally, after about a year, one of the young composers said, hey, I got a song with Oscar. Do you want to sing with Oscar on Sesame Street? And I said, I would love to sing with Oscar on Sesame Street. So my first big hit was, I love trash, anything dirty and dingy and dusty, anything ragged and rotten and rusty. Oh, I love trash. My big hit, thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So while I was at Sesame Street, this is a brand new TV show back in the day, and they were putting out a book, one book every month. And they were looking for writers and ideas and illustrators. So I went down to the book department, knocked on the door, said, excuse me, could I write a children's book? They said, have you ever written a children's book? I said, no. They said, well, if you have an idea for a children's book, come down at 2 o'clock and we'll see if we like your idea. I went back to my office in Sesame Street. I did not have one idea. And then I remembered this picture. This is me in first grade. And this is my brother Steve on the left, my brother Bill on the right, and that's my kitten, brand new, 3 days I'd had her in this picture, 3 days. So I suddenly remembered when I got my kitten, my mom said, I am going in the garden. Whatever you do, don't let that kitten in the kitchen because my great-grandmother's antique teapot is on the table and I don't want that kitten to break it. So of course my mother goes out the back door, and what do you think happens? The kitten flies out of my arms. I run after the kitten. I hit the table. The teapot went flying. 9 million years old, broke into a million pieces. And all the time I think, my mom is going to be so mad at me. The one thing she asked me not to do, right guys? So when she came in and she saw the look on my face and the broken glass and the kitten, she looked at me. There's some big thing going on out there. She looked at me and she said, I love you more than any old antique teapot. So I told the people at Sesame Street my story, and the next thing you know, from the back of the room, someone said, could you make it a story for Bert? This is Bert and the Broken Teapot. This is my first book. It is out of print. Some of the older kids have noticed that up in the corner here, you see my name is Tish Summers. Tish Summers was my stage name. Well, I tried to become an opera singer and a jazz singer, but I will tell you that I've been married to Mr. Rabe here, my husband, for 30 years. This is a very old book. See, we can applause for being married 30 years. That's pretty good. But in this book, just like in my life, Bert tries to help in the store, and he breaks David's teapot. And David says, you know, Bert, I know how you felt. When I worked for Mr. Hooper, I broke his cookie jar. And you know what he said to me? What? Says Bert, my friend David is more important to me than any teapot. And you know what, Bert? What? Says Bert, my friend Bert is more important to me than any teapot. Now, do you remember who said something like that to me in my real life? Right here, remember? My mom. So I use this as an example for my audience, as you guys could write a children's book about something that really happens to you. This really happened to me. Now, raise your hand if you've ever been on a sleepover. Any of you guys ever been on a sleepover out there? All right. Well, I think we can say that not all kids love sleepovers. Some kids make it to, like, you know, the middle of the night and they come home. Well, this is Elmo's first sleepover. This is a book I wrote for Elmo, and Elmo's not sure about this. He doesn't know if he loves his sleepover night. He's afraid he's going to miss his mommy. He's just not sure. So his mom says, look up tonight, look up at the moon. And I'll look up at the moon. And you'll feel better. And I'll feel better. I was just about to deliver this book to Sesame Street when they asked me if I would write Elmo a lullaby. And I can share with the adults out there that our son Johnny was going to college that week, and I've never known whether I wrote this for Johnny or I wrote it for Elmo. There are lots of fish in the ocean. There are lots of flowers that grow. There are lots of birds flying in the sky, but I want you to know there is just one moon shining in the night. The same moon shines on all of us when we say goodnight. So tonight look at the moon, and I will do that too. When you go to sleep and start to dream, remember I love you. Remember, I love you. Thank you. Almost over. Now people are always asking me, how did I am a mom. I am a stepmom and I'm a grandmother. How did I end up writing for the world's most recognizable children's character? Well, over the years, I wrote for everybody. Blue's Clues, Bear in the Big Blue House, Clifford, Curious George, Sesame Street, Winnie the Pooh, the list goes on. But I didn't have my own character. So I came up with a dinosaur. A brachiosaurus named Morosaurus had the best voice in the dinosaur chorus. He liked to play tennis and swim in the sea, but mostly he liked to eat fresh broccoli. He liked broccoli cupcakes and broccoli on toast, but he really liked broccoli pancakes the most. One day his friend said, "You're driving us crazy." "Morris," they told him, "your taste buds are lazy. Broccoli's fine, it's got color and crunch, but you eat it for breakfast and dinner and..." Please try something else. For us as a favor, you may just find out that you like a new flavor. For one thing is true and you cannot deny it. Like it or not, you won't know till you try it. Excellent in the front here. So I sent my book into Random House, home of the Cat in the Hat. And I got bad news, and I got good news. The bad news: they did not print and publish Morosaurus brachiosaurus. I'm sorry to report he is still available. The only reason you see his picture up here is my girlfriend, who is the senior editor for Nick Jr. magazine, put him in her magazine. That is the only reason my little dinosaur exists. So anybody out there in broadcast land, he's very available. But they asked me how would I like to write for Dr. Seuss. I tell everybody this is the real Dr. Seuss, okay? I'm not the real Dr. Seuss. This is the real Dr. Seuss. And Dr. Seuss wrote the words and he drew the pictures. Exactly. The author-illustrator. Now I'm going to tell you 5 quick things about Dr. Seuss you might not know. Dr. Seuss is not his real name. He made it up. His real name was Theodore Geisel. Seuss was his grandmother's maiden name, and he changed it to Seuss and he put doctor in front of it. But his real name was Theodore Geisel. Now, if he wrote the words and he drew the pictures, he put Dr. Seuss on the cover. If he wrote the words, but he did not draw the... He took his legal name and wrote it backwards. You will see down here that Theo Lersieg is Geisel backwards. This is the cover of the very first book Dr. Seuss ever wrote. And it was rejected 32 times. By the time it was rejected 32 times, he was on his way back to his apartment to burn it. And he ran into a friend who said, "What are you doing? You look so sad." And he said, "I'm going to burn this thing, I'm done." And his friend had just gotten a job in a publishing company, and he published this book, and truly, literary history began. Dr. Seuss did not have any children. For the adults out there, I will tell you, you do not have to have children to write for children. Dr. Seuss did not have any. However, he got so tired of people asking him if he had kids, he made up an imaginary daughter. This is Chrysanthemum Pearl Geisel, who does not exist. He totally made her up. He started dedicating books to her. This is the dedication page on the 500 Hats of Bartholomew Cubbins. She does not exist. Raise your hand if you've read Green Eggs and Ham. Oh boy, Green Eggs and Ham. Well, I'll tell you a secret about Green Eggs and Ham. Dr. Seuss's editor bet him he could not write a book with only 50 words. 50 words. So the reason there's so much repetition, I would not, could not with a fox, I would not, could not in a box, I would not, could not on the train, I would not, could not in the rain, is because he was only trying to use a few words. It ended up teaching kids how to read because of all the repetition, but that was not the original plan. He just wanted to win the bet. This is a picture of the real Dr. Seuss in his studio in La Jolla, California. And I show the cover of this book because it was the only time I spoke to Dr. Seuss's widow. Dr. Seuss's widow is still alive. I believe she's 97. But she called me and said, would I read all of his books and put a little couple lines of every single book in this book, Oh Baby, the Places You'll Go, to be read in utero. So over the years, this idea of these are science books in rhyme. When birds want to go on a winter vacation, they all take a trip and they call it migration. Writing books for kids in rhyme about science was not my idea. It was Dr. Seuss's idea, and he died before he could finish the first one. There are 3 things I have to do to write these books. One is research. I have to research all the facts about the topic. The second one is about rhythm. Raise your hand if you have a Dr. Seuss book. Raise your hand if you have a Dr. Seuss book at home. Good. Well, you try this afternoon. You take it off the shelf, okay? And I'll tell you, if it's one of mine or one of his, on the 15th of May in the jungle of Newell Horton, the elephant sat in the pool. This is from my book, Can You See a Chimpanzee? Tarsiers like this one have long, slender tails. Look closely, you'll see its tail covered with scales. The third thing I have to do to make my life even more exciting, and it also begins with the letter R, is all my books must rhyme. Then the olfactory nerve I would like to explain brings the smell from his nose right up into his brain. Explain and brain rhyme. There's No Place Like Space is my most popular book, and all of a sudden a couple years ago Pluto got demoted from being a planet. So this book went from 9 planets to 8 planets. Random House had to revise the book. They were not happy. This is the new one you'll see downstairs. This had to be what we call a revision. But now they call me and they go, well, Pluto hit the dust. So now we need 3 more pages. That was the first problem. And the second problem was I had come up with a way to remember the names. Now, we've seen all 9 planets. Well, here is a trick to remember their names and remember them quick. Say, Mallory, Valerie, Emily, pizzas just served us 999 pizzas. But pizza was for Pluto, and Pluto just got demoted. So now what do? They called me up and they said, would you fix this? But the illustrator, Aristides Ruiz from New Mexico, is so swamped. Could you just make the minimum amount of changes to the artwork? So I came up with, now we've seen all the planets, now here is a trick to remember their names and remember them quick. Say Mallory, Valerie, Emily, Nichols just saved up 999 nickels. And you'll notice if you guys look closely in the front, this is the new picture. This was the old picture. And the only thing Mr. Ruiz had to do was change her arm. She kept her t-shirt, she kept her hat, she kept her crayon, and all we had to do was make pizza boxes into nickels. We call this in children's publishing revision, and it happens every day. People ask me what my favorite book is, and this is it. Oh, the things you can do that are good for you. When Random House asked me to write a book about healthy living for kids, I thought this was a little boring. So I said, what if I come up with my own characters, like the Sneeze, Snicker, Sneeze, who loves brushing your teeth? They said, if we ask them in California if you can come up with Dr. Seuss characters, they will say no so fast. The only thing I could do is write a 42-page, fully rhyming, fully rhythmic, fully researched book and hope that Mrs. Geisel liked it. And I am very proud to announce that she loved it. Let me introduce the Sneeze, Snicker, Sneeze. She's known far and wide for her sparkling clean teeth. Like you, she had baby teeth when she was small, but though she grew big, her teeth grew not at all. One by one they fell out, but this smart Snicker Sneeze knew she had a new set of teeth growing beneath. Now you remember I went to college to be an opera singer. I was going to go to New York and be an opera singer. It didn't quite work out, but that's another whole story. So I decided to throw an opera singer in here. Now you're in for a treat. Meet the Zing Singing Zans. She's written a song about washing your hands. It takes half a minute to get your hands clean. Sing along with the Zans, and you'll see what I mean. Wishly, washly, washly, wish. Squishly, squashly, squashly, squish. Wash your hands carefully, it's up to you. Use soap and warm water, it's easy to do. Rinse them and while we all sing this refrain, germs from your hands will slide right down the drain. Very nice. Now I'll tell you, when you become a children's author, it is your job, it is my job to tell the illustrator what you see on every page. But the illustrator adds things. Singing into this bar of soap was not my idea, it was his idea. Clam I Am, I'm going to read you a couple pages from Clam I Am, which I'm holding with Jonah's copy right here. Hello, I'm the fish, to the beach, let us go. The Fish Channel asked me to star in a show. It's called Fish and Friends, you can be in it too. Your mother will not mind at all if you do. I will share with the adults, I have the rights to write for the fish, the kids, thing 1 and thing 2, and the cat. I thought since it's a beach book, we got to use the fish. Meet my friend Clam I Am. She would like to say hi. She lives in the sand. She's a little bit shy. For those of you who can see, you can see they put the little Sam I Am hat on Clam I Am. This is my favorite spread of the whole thing. Next, it's Shop with the Fish. We have gifts from the sea. You can order today, and the gifts are all free. We have pieces of sea glass. The sun makes them glow. They're pieces of bottles that broke long ago. They were tossed by the waves. Over time, they were ground by the salt and the sand till the edges were round. I thought the fish should have his own QVC channel where all the gifts are free. The last page in a children's book is the most important page. I urge you all, if any of you want to become children's book authors, remember it is the last page a child hears before they close their eyes and often go to sleep. Oh dear, our show's over. We must hit the road. Please join us next time for a new episode. Come back to the beach. You'll smell the salt air, hear the cry of the gull, feel the wind in your hair. You'll find a seashell to hold in your hand. Build a high castle, dig your toes in the sand. Everywhere that you look, you'll find creatures galore. When you look even closer, you'll find even more. Excellent. Now we're going to sing the Dr. Seuss song. It's the tune of Twinkle Twinkle. The adults can help us too. And if we want to, we can clap, okay? So we're going to sing it twice. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, go. Dr. Seuss, we're happy that you gave us all the cat in the hat. He is funny, he is fun, with his friends, thing 2 and thing 1. Dr. Seuss, we all thank you. We love your books and we love you. Let's try it one more time. Dr. Seuss, we're happy that you gave us all the cat in the hat. He is funny, he is fun, with his friends, thing 2 and thing 1. Dr. Seuss, we all thank you. We love your books and we love you. Give yourselves a round of applause. Awesome. Good job. Now to finish up and tell the people out there a couple of things. I don't only write for the Cat in the Hat. I had a meeting, I became a grandma, we have a 6-year-old, 4-year-old, and 3-month-old grandchildren, and I was at a meeting and I said, I'm sure you have an I Love You Grandma book. And they looked at me with the blankest stare I've ever seen. So I Love You Grandma just came out a couple months ago. And I'd finally like to show you something I'm very proud of. These are available downstairs. This is a book that I wrote for Reach Out and Read. Reach Out and Read encourages reading and helps give books to low-income children. And they were looking for a simple board book, so I created Love You, Hug You, Read to You. There are 3 things I'll always do. Love you, hug you, read to you. Now you'll notice, do you see at the bottom the questions? These are questions that prompt dialogue between the reader and this little child and help them learn to read faster than if they just sit and listen. What is the mama cat doing? Do you guys know what the mama cat's doing? She's reading. Where is the ball of yarn? Does anybody see a ball of yarn? On the cover, excellent. And why are the kittens smiling? Can What? Because their mom's reading. Okay. What else? Because they're happy. Excellent. Because there's pretty pictures in the book. That's great. So it starts to get a dialogue going with the book. I'll hold you close. We'll share a book and read together. Take a look. I'll read to you every day. I'll read to you before you play. I'll read to you when bright leaves fall. We'll pick some books and read them all. I'll read to you when soft winds blow, in summer sun and winter snow. I'll read to you when stars shine bright, then tuck you in and say good night. You'll close your eyes, you'll sleep, and then tomorrow we will read again. There are 3 things I'll always do: love you, hug you, read to you. Thank you. Thank you very much. As soon as we got the book done, we were asked by Reach Out and Read New York to put it in Spanish and English. So I'm very proud of the fact that we have it in bilingual version as well. And I want the kids to help me. We're going to sing the reading and writing song. And then if anyone has any questions for me about writing for children's books or Reach Out and Read, we'll show you a little bit of information about that too. But let's do the reading and writing song. So follow me, guys. Everybody sit up straight a little bit. You don't have to stand. Excellent. And we'll do the clapping, okay? 1, 2, 3, go. Reading and writing, both are so exciting. Read a book or write a story, start right now again. Reading and writing, both are so exciting. Read a book or write a story, start right now. Last time. Reading and writing, both are so exciting. Read a book or write a story, start right now. Give yourselves a round of applause. It was excellent. Now I want to tell you guys a little bit about Reach Out and Read, closing the achievement gap for disadvantaged children. We're very excited to be part of this. It is not just a book giveaway program. Pediatricians encourage parents to read with their children every day, and every child receives a new book at their doctor visit. And $20 provides one child with 1 year of Reach Out and Read. So I'm going to be downstairs, and I'm happy to answer any questions, but I'll be downstairs signing books. Do you have a question, sweetie? Yes, honey. What's your question, darling? Yeah?
To know the girl's name.
What's the girl's name? You know, I don't know what the girl's name is. Okay, let's guess. What do you think her name is? Jenny? I don't know. Amelia, maybe. Jessica. She could be a Jessica. I think she's very cute. Anybody else have any questions, adults or kids, about? Do you have a question, Jonah? Yeah? Don't have a question? Okay, just stretching. I will tell you that Random House works very hard to make sure these books are factually correct and that they're also very durable. What do you think in the front here? If I dropped this book, would it break? No, this book would not break. These books are glued, they are stitched, they have a hard cover. Why do you think books like this have a hard cover? Why do you think? So it does not rip. These have hard covers, so they will not rip. Also, does anybody know what this part of a book is right here? Yes, do you know? Which one is my favorite book? I think my favorite is Oh, the Things You Can Do That Are Good For You. That's a great question. Yes, guys in the back. Yes, sir.
The spine.
The spine. That is correct. This is the spine. I'll tell you guys why there's all this information on the spine. If you took 10 books downstairs in this bookstore and put them on a rack like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 books would go almost all the way halfway across the stage. But if you take 10 books and you put them spine out, 10 books would probably be about 2 inches. So this is why people put all this information on the spine, so you don't always have to just look at the cover. question. Anybody else have a question? All right, let's do the reading and writing song one more time, and then I will meet you all downstairs. And we're going to do this on the other hand. We're going to do the signing right over here. You can buy the books downstairs. I'll do the signing over here. All right, let's. Can you go back to? I don't know if we can. We'll see. Yes, you can. Okay, let's do the reading and writing song one last time. Everybody clap with me. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, go. Reading and writing, both are so exciting. Read a book or write a story, start right now. Last time. Reading and writing, both are so exciting. Read a book or write a story, start right now. Give yourselves a round of applause. It was awesome. I love you guys. Keep reading and writing, and I will sign your books if you buy one and you help your kids out. Thank you very much.
And we also, if anyone wants to donate a book to reach out and read if you weren't able to in March or you'd like to today, we will be taking donations and giving them to reach out and read today. So thank you. Tish is going to sign books right over here. And Clifford